Participants who wish to ask questions may please press star 1 on their touchtone enabled telephone keypad. On pressing star 1, participants will get a chance to present their questions on a first-in-line basis. To ask a question, participants may please press star 1 now. The first question comes from Mr. Suresh Mahadevan from UBS, Mumbai. Mr. Mahadevan, you may ask a question now.
Yeah, good afternoon. I have a quick two questions. Question number one is on your strategy on the mobile side. It seems like, I think you have been fairly aggressive. Last July you increased prices, but after that you have been fairly aggressive, not only just in your challenger circles, even otherwise, which is quite obvious with this whole service charge absorbed by Bharti. And also, even this processing charge thing, essentially you could have had the option of increasing tariffs, right, which you have chosen not to. So I just want to understand the mobile strategy here because, clearly the new guys are not making an impact as far as we can see. It's essentially Bharti, Vodafone, Idea, which have 2/3 of the market. Is there a reason to be this hyper-competitive in the market? That is one. And the second question is your view on the whole auction process, which will happen later this year or early next year. How is Bharti approaching this? Because Bharti doesn't really need any spectrum right now, right? There is no immediate need. The renewal only happens in 2015. So I just want to understand your thoughts around the auction, how Bharti is approaching it. Thank you.
Thanks, Suresh. I'll ask both questions related to India, so I'll ask Sanjay to address both the mobile strategy and the auction process.
Yeah, Suresh. Hi, this is Sanjay Kapoor. Let me start with your second question first because I want to spend some time on the first question because I'm sure there are some others who've got related questions to answer. So on the process for the auction, very clearly, it's very early days. And we are not at a place right now where we can share what and how will we come and execute our strategy on the auction process. So I cannot, I'm afraid, at this stage share that with you. Yes, there are speculations on whether it makes sense, not making sense. We are evaluating all those things internally, and we'll come back at an appropriate moment if the need be and share that with all of you. Let me get on to the first one, which is a very critical question to say. What is Bharti's mobile strategy? We increased prices last year, and then, we clearly announced to all of you and shared with you that we will not allow our mark-to-market position to be given up. And it is starting January of this year, and then a full quarter, which is the quarter one, we went in with aggression, challenging our competitors in some of their strong markets, which we were not doing earlier because we were protecting ourselves. We were increasing prices at that stage. And obviously that led to a little bit of dilution on our revenue market share. And that was not acceptable. We said we are going to go back and get back the position that we truly deserve in the market. Obviously when we did that, we were absolutely cognizant of the fact that this might have a risk on protecting our EBITDA margins and bottom line. And therefore there is a possibility that there will be a dilution on that. But we also made it very clear to everybody that if there was a choice to be made in the short run, we would make the choice in favor of revenue market share. While all that happened, obviously there were two external factors that came into play. One was around the service tax increase that the government did. And obviously that 2 rupees, although it happened on the 28th of February, it probably becomes difficult for every company to really envisage and predict as to how much of that 2 rupees will the customer additionally spend and how much of that 2 rupees he'll not spend, and probably that habit change will happen over a period in time. So I think we were guessing as well, and therefore for an industry which is, according to you, the new players are not making mark and probably are dying out. Yes, that's true. The bulk of the share in the market is with the bigger brands. But also the fact that the cancelled licenses have led to more aggression by some of these operators in the marketplace because it is in their interest to protect their existing revenues at any cost in the marketplace. and therefore the aggression in the market does not die down. We were the first ones to take the price correction, and everybody took much longer before they came in. And then, with all this happening in the market, dilution of prices happened across, and we did not want to not participate in that market. The other important thing that happened at the same time was that PRAI came out with this revised regulation on processing fee and on combination packages or combo packs. And that was not emphasized because it happened just after we had entered into the market to make sure we win back our revenue market share. And at that stage, to pull back on your strategy and up your prices contrary to the market is probably not something that is advisable. However, while I make that statement, I'm absolutely cognizant that it is in our interest to find the sweet spot where we make the right amount of margin and we make or protect or gain our market shares in proportionate levels. Obviously, keeping cognizance of that, we will keep making changes in our strategy going forward to bring in the right balance so that we don't give up too much on the bottom line and we don't get overly aggressive in the market. So I guess this was the first quarter when we had to follow through with what we had done, and I think we've done fairly well on all mark-to-market parameters. So whether you see the minutes, whether you see the number of customers, whether you see the gains on mobile number portability, I think we've got a great gain on all the market-led activities during the quarter. Of course, this had a pressure on the price, and things at service packs and at the combo packs did not make life easy. So I guess there'll be fine-tuning which will happen. Some has already started. But I think something very important for us to realize is that industry is hyper-competitive, and to some extent there are some structural mismatches that are happening as the industry is growing. Imagine 80 million gross ads happen in this industry every month, and about 8 million flow through the bottom line, which means the rest of it is all trading of minutes that happens in the market. And you have to make a choice to participate, not to participate. Of course, we refrain from participating on 5 paisa and 3 minutes and 10 paisa minutes, but you cannot be completely away from the market, and that's why we entered the market. The second important thing to note is that because of this activity, the industry churn has gone completely out of hand. It is an industry where average churn today should be in excess of 16 or 17% a month. We, because of our prudent policies, are half that rate, right? But you cannot not participate in that market, and therefore we try to be as prudent as possible. So we took a conscious call, got into the market. We have to fine-tune to make sure as we progress, we keep making balances and make sure that we are relevant to the market, yet come back and protect our margins to the extent possible.
Yeah, thanks, Sanjay. Thanks for the detailed explanation, and good luck for the coming quarter and the auction.
Thank you, Mr. Mahadevan. The next question comes from Mr. Sachin Salgaonkar from Goldman Sachs, Mumbai. Mr. Salgaonkar, you may ask your question now.
Hi, thank you for the call. I have two questions. Firstly, a follow-up on Sanjay. Sanjay, are you content with your aggression that it has delivered the required results in 1Q, or you see room to become further aggressive going forward? And, a related question is what we saw in across telco markets. It's easy for margins to go down, but it takes time to recover. So just wanted to understand your thoughts that in the longer run you might recover your market share, but, how do you look at margins? And my second question is to Manoj. Manoj, any thoughts if elasticity is working in Africa and any modification to your, revenue EBITDA target of 5 billion, 2 billion for FY13? Thanks.
That's Sanjay to the first question.
Sachin, on the aggression piece, I don't think there's a standard definition that you can afford to say, are we aggressive enough, not aggressive enough? I think it's all mark to market. And given the first phase or the first round of aggression, I think we've done well to contain others and to make sure on all mark-to-market parameters we come back, with a decent bang. I think we've done well on that. How aggressive will we be in future is not something that's predetermined and pre-designed. We mark the market in every zone in the country, every sub-zone in the country, We mark the market on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and therefore, we will keep adjusting our aggression based on what is required. But we've never been destroyers of value in the market, and we will never be destroyers of value in the market. In the long run, we want to make sure that the value in the market is accretive, and the whole industry gains. However, the structure of the industry today doesn't permit, and we do believe that yes, it is difficult for margins to erode, but it is difficult for them to recover.
All right, that's the Bharti management talking about their first quarter earnings. The markets are slightly disappointed with the numbers, but of course there's lots of clarification that has been coming in from the Bharti Airtel management there.